Dr. Farooq Baloch here. When you start a bigger business, when you start a multinational, when you start a stock exchange listed business, then you must know the concept of corporate governance. Without knowing it, you cannot start a business. Without handling the corporate governance, it is impossible to govern a company. So we will talk about its principles, structures, and accountability, starting with the introduction to corporate governance, so that you understand what is it, why it is important to know for the business owners, for the business students, for the finance students, for every person. So corporate governance refers to the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. So any company, the way it is directed and controlled, the rules, processes, and policies are called corporate governance. Here in the picture, you can find that corporate governance, the vision, the mission, the strategy, the objective, the smart goals of an organization, all they move around the corporate governance. So corporate governance also includes the transparency and accountability, the monitoring and internal control, the organizational hierarchy, the legal and regulatory framework, the board of directors and the communities, the policies and the procedures. So the first thing is, why corporate governance? Corporate governance is important because it has to protect the shareholders. For example, all the publicly listed companies, people buy their stock. So there must be a governance team that should protect the stakeholders interest. Otherwise the people who are running the company, they will be 100% on their own. Secondly, the corporate governance is important. It matters because it enhances transparency. It is a kind of keeps updated the stakeholders, the investors, the customers about the company updates, and it improves the corporate performance of the companies. Objectives of the corporate governance are four. First objective is accountability, second is fairness, third is transparency, and fourth is the responsibility. At the end of the day, corporate governance helps the organization to achieve the accountability, fairness, transparency, and responsibility. Now, key stakeholders in corporate governance are four. The first ones are the shareholders. The second one are board of directors, mostly selected by the shareholders. Then the management, which is hired by the board of director, and fourth one is the regulatory authority that manages the companies. So there are four key stakeholders: shareholders, board of directors, management, and regulators. So, what are the principles of the corporate governance? Basically, there are four principles of the corporate governance. First one is transparency. There must be transparency all the time. The second one is accountability. The third one is responsibility. And the fourth one is independence. These are principles of corporate governance. So, board of directors, what they do? What is their job? Board of directors in corporate governance, what they kind of oversee the management. They set the strategy and ensure accountability. So there are three types of directors: executive directors, non-executive directors, and independent directors. So what is the role of shareholders? Because we were talking about the stakeholders, that the shareholders are the first stakeholder. Shareholders appoint directors and hold management accountable. So role of management run day by day operations in the governance principles. So corporate governance, for the corporate governance, there are three models that are working worldwide. The one is Anglo-American model, the second one is German model, the third one is Japanese model. So for the bigger companies or that operate on the international level, listed on in the stock, for them mostly people follow the Anglo-American model, where the shareholders sort of appoint the directors, and the directors appoint the management. In the German model, you can say somehow it is decentralized. So sort of board of directors, few team look into the management, few team also look into the daily operation. While in Anglo-American, the board of directors, the higher ups in the corporate governance do not look into the operations. In the Japanese model, shareholders are also involved. When we all the 100 concepts of the business I am talking, we will have a detailed complete course of the corporate governance. I will further talk in detail about those aspects of the corporate governance. So the most important thing is ethics in corporate governance. Good governance promotes ethical business conduct. So we can see there were certain cases like WorldCom, like Enron, and other scandals. They failed because of the unethical behavior of the corporate governance. Those people who were accountable. In the developing countries, we can say there are weak regulation. There is ownership concentration. One person owns the company. There are not much shareholders, so we can say that these are problems in the developing countries. In Pakistan, there is SECP that do the regulations. Listed companies, there is a framework for the listed companies. Students must understand the accountability, the business ethics. The professionals must understand the board effectiveness, compliance, risk management, so that they become part of the board. Corporate governance and sustainability are kind of friends with each other. If there's a good governance, then definitely it leads to the sustainability. With the passage of time, as AI is around in the digital world, we can say that the corporate governance in digital world is will be led by three things. Number one will be cyber governance. Number two will be data protection, and the third will be AI side. So, what are the benefits of the strong corporate governance? If governance is done very well, so there will be three benefits: that investors' confidence, risk reduction, and long-term gain. Common problems that companies face in the corporate governance is the conflict of interest, maybe between the management, between the board of directors, between the shareholders. Weak oversight and poor disclosure can also result into the corporate governance issues. So what we learn is that corporate governance ensures the trust. It is accountable. So if you find it useful, if you learn something, tell me in the comment section that is corporate governance legally enforced or voluntary. Secondly, tell me that how can governance failures be prevented. Tell me in the comments. I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much.